How goes it, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode of us talking about basketball. And today we're going to continue our off-season preview of all 30 teams. And we're going to be talking about the Nets and the Pacers. Before we start, we want to announce a giveaway. So we're giving away another Bukas flask. And if you want to win, stay with us till the end of the episode. All right, fellas, so let's start with the Nets. Of course, they're one of the most talked about teams in the offseason. They have KD, they have Kyrie, and they have a brand new coach in Steve Nash. Viz, let's start with you. Usually, it takes super teams a year or so to adjust and to win. Do you think they'll need the same type of adjustment?
Well, yun nga, itong Nets team na to, syempre, on paper, di ba? Pag tiningnan mo, parang wow, they have it all, di ba? Kasi Kyrie, tapos may LeVert sila na-retain nila.
Mm-hmm.
Tapos yun nga, KD, andyan pa rin si Dinwiddie, andyan pa si Jarrett, andyan pa si DeAndre. So on paper, parang ang lakas nila eh. Tapos yung bata nila, si Nick Claxton, magaling din. So, may Joe Harris pa. So, on paper, I see a very, medyo very powerful team to. Juggernauts of the East. Actually, ito, depende kay KD pala. Depende kay KD.
Yeah.
How he will return, di ba? Kasi major injury yan eh. Achilles, tapos he's a 7-footer who plays like a guard. So, I want to see how his body responds, di ba? Tsaka mentally, how he will play. So, interesting to. Pero on paper, grabe, lakas nila. Baka yan na makalaban natin.
Yan! Finals agad!
Lalaro na kayo? Finals na kayo din? Grabe yan, ha?
Sasalang na si Viz. Pero ikaw, Jeff, let's go to you. I know you're a KD fan. Would you do you see them making an immediate impact, an immediate bond, or do you see them adjusting first?
Yun yung sasabihin ko eh. Feeling ko may adjustment kasi lahat bago, diba? And this is similar to the para sa akin situation ng Clippers dati na before Kawhi and PG, di ba? Ang ganda ng laro ng Clippers eh. They were a parang what do you call this? They're always underdogs, di ba? They're a group of hustling young players that bonded well together. Cohesive. But then suddenly Kawhi happened, di ba? And then ibang-iba bigla yung dynamic ng team. And I think this is the same kasi sa Nets, but then again, this is KD and Kyrie na dinadagdag mo, and it's not as if it's there's gonna be an issue. Yun nga lang, it's again chemistry wise we haven't seen them play together. Sina Dinwiddie, sina LeVert, yan you can maasahan, pero hindi mo alam paano mag-respond yung mga bata when it comes to Kyrie's and KD's leadership.
And so speaking of leadership, another obvious point that we have to talk about is Steve Nash. Obviously he has Mike D'Antoni on his coaching staff. But how do you think KD and Kyrie will respond to that type of leadership, Viz?
Feeling ko kasi si Steve Nash, kaya pinili ni Kyrie and ni Durant. Dahil, siya eh, parang feeling ko player's coach siya eh. Because he's a former player. Tapos si Nash, if pag pakinggan mo siya sa mga interviews, cool guy siya eh. Diba? He doesn't seem like na magwawala sa sideline at papagalitan yung players niya. So, feeling ko nakita ni KD yun na chill to si Nash na okay maging coach dahil players coach eh. So, interesting to. I have full belief in Steve Nash's leadership ability kasi nakita naman natin yung kung paano niya ni-lead yung Phoenix Suns dati sa court eh. So, feeling ko magta-translate to sa coaching niya. Yun nga, pero depende na lang sa chemistry ng players, di ba? Hindi naman lahat yan coaching eh. So yun nga, yung sinabi ni Jeff, baka yung adjustment period, meron yan sa simula. For sure.
Viz, I think you made a great distinction. Sabi mo nga, pinili ni KD. Si Kyrie medyo.
Yep.
Pero, I mean, if Kyrie buys in, Jeff, do you think that it can be a great relationship between those three superstars?
Yun yung gusto ko nga sana mangyari. If isipin mo si Nash, ma-coach na si Kyrie properly. Wow. Imagine Kyrie buying in, diba? Wow. I have never seen him buy in except for LeBron. Or no choice kasi siya nun, diba? So it's interesting to see that. And I think tama yung sinabi ni Viz, players coach kasi si Nash. And I think he saw how a players coach in a system like Steve Kerr can work.
Right.
Diba? For as long as you have the right players there and then a players coach, kahit ba Pero magaling naman kasi, yung experience kasi ni Steve Kerr, pare, iba, diba? Popovich, Phil Jackson, iba eh. But you can't discount the genius of Steve Nash.
Absolutely.
He's still the Steve Nash.
Absolutely. Okay, let's change it up a bit kasi we're pretty sure that this team can reach the playoffs. Best case, worst case, Viz. What's the worst case scenario for the Nets?
Worst case scenario, 'di ba? I mean, yung health ni Durant, pag 'di ba, if it doesn't hold up, 'di ba? 'Yun yung mga worst case scenario. Tsaka si Kyrie, kung magtampuhan na naman sila ng mga teammates niya, ba hindi mo alam kung kailan magtatampo eh. So, yan ang nakikita ko dyan kung yan ang worst case scenario eh.
Pero best case.
Tapos baka mawala sila sa top 5. Ganun lang naman feeling ko, worst case scenario, mawala sila sa top 5.
Okay.
Kasi malakas sila talaga on paper. I mean, I feel like they have a good nucleus of veterans and young guys. So,
right.
Best case scenario, number 1 in the East. Number 1 in the East, for sure.
Okay. Ikaw, Jeff, do you agree?
Worst case muna si Kyrie mag-tantrums ng week 1.
Ouch.
Diba? Pwede talaga kasi mangyari. And then, best case, tama si Viz, top of the East. But then again, sa playoffs, pwede magka-tantrums ulit si Kyrie eh. I have yung medyo, I love watching Kyrie play, pero parang lagi siyang may parang may baltik lagi eh. Parang kulang, parang kailangan mag-nap. Diba?
Saka lagi din siyang injured. Lagi din siyang injured. So yung health din niya yung crucial. Yung health nilang dalawa. Diba? He's always injured. Every year parang meron siyang iniinda pag playoff time na wala na si Kyrie. Diba?
Totoo. So folks, just a reminder before we get to our next team, we're gonna be relaunching an old segment called Fantasy Bucket. So Jeff and Viz will be talking about the ins and outs of fantasy basketball, who you should pick up, who you should drop, and so on and so forth. So stay tuned for that. We'll be releasing our first episode next week. Okay, so let's jump to our next team, Indiana Pacers. So another team that made it to the playoffs, but didn't really do too well. And they have another star that's always in trade rumors, Oladipo. Sabonis is back healthy, and TJ Warren is supposedly going to take another step.
Well, yun nga. I see them as a playoff team. Ano sila eh? Okay yung team nila, malakas yung team nila. Yun nga, on paper din. Kasi, di ba ngayon, nung bubble, okay sila eh, di ba? Si TJ Warren was the main guy, scorer siya. Pero, tingnan natin kung nandiyan si Oladipo, di ba? How the chemistry will work out. Tapos, andiyan pa rin si Myles Turner and Domantas combo. Hanggang ngayon, parang di nila alam kung paano i-combine yung dalawang yun eh. Parang, hindi nila alam kung si Sabonis lang ba o si Myles or sabay sila. Feeling ko magkakaroon sila ng strategy to play those two together, di ba?
Ikaw, Jeff, what do you think about this Pacers team? They looked really good until Sabonis went out. Now he's healthy. Do you think they'll take the next step, or will they just stay around the same area, same place?
Feeling ko kailangan nila ma-solve yung yung sabi ni Viz, si Sabonis and si Myles Turner. Because after nung nag-surge yung laro ni Sabonis, nawala yung laro ni Myles Turner. Parang naging 3-point shooting center na lang siya. Tipong I was keeping an eye on him kasi nga parang even on fantasy, kami nila Viz, di ba?
He'll
average like
hyped.
3 blocks, di ba? He'll have 15 rebounds, 3 blocks a game. Parang sabi ko, ano na to? Parang he's a young developing player, and then suddenly Sabonis happened. He's confused. He doesn't know what position to play. Obviously, pareho sila laro ni Sabonis sa sentro. So I think they have to figure that one out. But then again, the main player here is always Oladipo. Kung anong gagawin nila kay Dipo, it's gonna dictate the fate of that team. I really think he should stay. He should own that team. There's a good nucleus there in Brogdon, diba? Meron pang Jeremy Lamb. So you have that. They have a very strong parang group of players, but then again, it's a question mark kung anong gagawin nung Indiana at this point.
If you're in charge of the Pacers team, what do you do with Oladipo?
I'll keep him. I'll probably offer Sabonis instead and keep Myles Turner.
Oh wow.
Para sa akin.
Si Sabonis
mas feeling mas ano kasi siya mas in demand mas may trade value si Sabonis rather than Myles Turner. So I still see Myles Turner having a career ahead of him, but then someone has to give in from the two. And then I think they have to move Sabonis and get, valuable return from him.
Ikaw, Viz, what would you do in this situation? Obviously, halos lahat na-connect kay Dipo eh. Would you move him?
Ako, feeling ko, inevitable na mawawala na si Oladipo eh.
Wow.
Even in his interviews, di ba? Parang sinasabi niya na, I'm here now, pero parang ganyan, parang, So parang narinig mo na dati yan eh, di ba? Pag may trade rumors yung yung isang tao, tapos sasabihin nila na...
Para pag may nag-imbita sa party, tignan ko. Sunod daw.
Parang di ba nag-aanap na si Ainge ng trade partner for Myles Turner before niya gustong yung trade ng Gordon, wala nang pumapayag sa trade for Myles Turner. So parang wag na lang, di ba? Kasi nga ang laki pa ng contract ni Myles Turner. He has like two more years of malaki yung contract niya. So, si Ainge parang okay lang kahit mawala si Hayward for nothing. Pero for me, mali yun, no? Dapat tingnan nila si Myles Turner, bro. Nun, prospect yun eh.
Kailangan nila nun eh.
Anyway.
Pare.
Kaya nga eh.
Ang ganda ng fit nun.
Sa Boston. Alright, folks, let us know what you think about the Pacers and the Nets. Obviously, two very different teams, but on the rise in the East, so let us know your thoughts. And if you want to win this Bukas Flask, all you gotta do is subscribe to our YouTube channel, like this video, and leave a comment on this video. Tell us what you think about the Nets, what you think about the Pacers, and you just might win this Flask. See you in our next episode, folks.